Howdy neighbors, and welcome to the Monroe Style Improvising course. My name is Christopher. I'm going to be your guide. And so what I'd like to do is just orient us to understand what's going on with this program. So just a little bit of the backstory. Last year I was teaching a lot of Monroe note for note stuff, and then this year I wanted to get into more improvising stuff, obviously. And so I got together with Dave McLaughlin and we started the Monroe Improvising Workshop, Monroe Style Improvising Workshop on Zoom. Okay, and so in the beginning it was just going to be a beginner workshop, an intermediate workshop, and an advanced workshop. And so in the first beginner workshop, I just wanted to orient everyone to the idea that we were going to be using modular devices to play this music in an improvisational way. Okay, so what is a modular device? What we're calling, we had to develop the vocabulary, the lexicon, the jargon, so we know what we're talking about. And this is the codification of Monroe's music to a certain degree. Okay, so what we're starting out with are staggered 16th notes. And here is the idea behind the staggered 16th notes. All right, so most of the time in bluegrass music, you're playing a lot of 16th notes when you're playing. You know, for instance, Sally Gooden. 1E and a 2E and a, like that 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. That's a full bar of 16th notes, okay? So if we're thinking about our arpeggio in G, okay? So that's single stroke. You definitely want to be comfortable with major G scale, A scale, folded, and doing the skipper. So the skipper's like this. And the folded scales like this. You can tag it with an arpeggio. And then do all that in G sharp and A and all that kind of stuff. There's a video called 36 Scale and Practice Exercises that I definitely recommend to get your motor running. This is going to help you with your right hand. One of the hardest things to do on the mandolin is cross on an upstroke, and so you're practicing this constantly here. Back to the G string on an upstroke, 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 crossing that way. And so it's really important to get that motor running, okay? So from there, you can get comfortable with your arpeggios. G, G sharp, and A. And so what we're doing is the first three notes, then you're right into your chord shape. Okay, first three notes, this is G sharp, right into your chord. First three notes of A, then right into your chord. And you can always grab that upper third extension with your little finger if you want. It's all out of the chord. Okay, so back to the staggered idea. So what is the staggered? It's when you play the first note with a downstroke and then move through your line. We usually do it with arpeggios on an upstroke. So your first stroke is down, then you're going through the arpeggio, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1. Down and up, or up and down, however you like it. But you're going to be starting on a down and moving on an upstroke. So it's down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay? Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And the difference is this is doing it 2 notes per fret. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. That's not staggered. So staggered is when you start with a down and move on an up. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, so this is really the basis for so much of what we're going to be doing here. I'll just show you how it works real quick. So that's the staggered 16th notes through G, C, and D, 2 octaves. You come back down to your 5th fret there if you just want to kind of have an easy 8th note at the end. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and then go to C. You're playing out of your chord position. There's many different ways we can do it. We're going to talk about that a lot, but you're going to want to get comfortable with this idea. That's the first way to get the 2 octaves out of like a C position, D, or C, B, D, E, all the stuff. So we're working with our shapes and tonality instead of names of notes and stuff like that. But you're always going to want to know that so much of everything is going to be rooted through your G, C, and D. G, chop chord, C chop chord, D chop chord, and back to G. Okay, so one more time, the staggered 16th notes. That's right out of your C position. 7th fret with your little finger. Remember, it's up, down, up, down, up, down, because we're doing staggered. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. 3rd fret of the E, up, down. And then the 8th fret of the E with your little finger. Up, down, up, down. Up to D. And then you can come down also. So what am I doing? I'm just starting at the top 3rd of the arpeggio. So the 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1. Those are the names of the scale intervals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8th note is the same as the 1st note. It's G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 notes in the scale. 1, 3, 5, 1. That's the arpeggio. 1, skip your 2. 3rd fret, skip your 4th interval, which is the 5th fret of the G, onto the D. So da, 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 ba, 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 ba. It's really important to get these sounds in our heads. And then when we're up at the top of the G chord, you can extend your little finger, and it's always going to be the same amount of frets. So there's going to be 1, 2, 3 empty frets before your little finger on the 7th fret of the E. That's how you get your high extension. This is the major third. 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mary had a little lamb. 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. That's the interval. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So those are staggered 16th notes. We're going to be working with them a lot. Okay. Now the first lick that we really want to look at is the slidey lick. It sounds like this. Okay, this is a modular device that you can customize depending on what the tune is, but this is the essence of it. This is the slidey lick. Coming down with your ring finger, and you can slide it with your ring finger the whole way. Some people like to put their middle finger on the 3rd fret of the A, then 1, 2, and then an upstroke and a downstroke on the 5th fret of the D. That's an idea that we're going to be constantly getting more comfortable with, the upstroke and the downstroke. Up, down. Okay, so here's how it starts. 5, 4, 3, 1, 2, 5, 5, 1, 2, 5, 3, 1, 2, 5, 5. That's a lot of information, but it's best if you just hear it. La da 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 ba 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 ba. And then a lot of times at the end of these licks, you'll have one note at the end, the 16th note right before the next beat, that you'll kind of drop, or you can make it an 8th note. What I mean by this is like this. That's your last downstroke, and then a lot of times the next 16th note before the bar starts on the next beat will get a little bit dropped or clipped, or it's just not that important. So what I mean by that is right there you can a lot of times use the string underneath you, not fretted, to complete the phrase. So like this. But if you happen to hit the 2nd fret of the A or the open A, it's fine. Because it goes by so fast. So you have 3 options there. The open D, upstroke, 2nd fret of the A, or the open A. And you just loop it together like that. Or you can just have it be an 8th note. Okay, so now let's take that round the horn. We'll do G, C, and D. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. C. So how did I do that? I just moved it over one set of strings. Okay, so we're starting on the A. And in C, we're starting on the D. Move that up 2 frets, you're in D. And then back to G. So with this one modular lick, we're taking it through all the chords of a song, say like Blue Ridge Cabin Home. In those Blue Ridge hills far away. Here we go. C. G, C, D, and back to G. Okay, so you can see really easily that this system will really get you going. It's our way in. You can also do your D slidey lick at the top. So now you have 3 layers of the slidey lick. Here's G, into C. All right, and then you can get D on the 5th fret of the E, or out of the D-shaped chop chord, and then back to G. So it's like this. I love those hills of old Virginia, from those Blue Ridge hills I did roam. When I starts again in G, don't you bear me on the mountain, far away near my Blue Ridge mountain home. So that's just one real easy way you can get in there. Okay, so slidey lick high, starting on the 10th fret of the E, up 1 set of strings for C, and then get into D, and then back to low G slidey lick. So 10th fret of the E, into C, because guess what? That's your high C chop chord. You can also go up 2 and get your high slidey lick in D, and then right here you're back into G. Okay, so that's the first lick that we're working with, okay? So now we've got slidey. We've got staggered 16th notes, and we got slidey. So with those 2 devices, we can play a lot of stuff. So check it out. And this is all not the melody. So the melody goes, oh, I love those hills of old Virginia, from those Blue Ridge hills I did roam. And when I die, you bear me on the mountain, far away in my Blue Ridge mountain home. Okay, so this is classic jam session material. A lot of times the very first song in jam sessions will be the Blue Ridge Cabin Home. And so you want to be ready for that. So you want to be ready with your staggered 16th notes. Oh, I love those hills of old Virginia. So what happened right there, I went into the slidey way to get the high position for C. Top of the chord, the staggered, sliding up to the 7th fret. Okay. Slide up with your ring finger, up, down, 3rd fret of the E, up, down, and the 8th fret for your high C. Okay. Same thing in D. Okay, so that was a big shift. To get back to your G note. That's just staggered arpeggios. And we'll get into the infinity shape here in a second, which is an easy transition all the way down. Okay, so now let's think about putting slidey in here. Okay, so let's do staggered and then slidey. 1, 2, ready, go. C, D, back to G. Okay, so what did we do? We did G staggered, we did C slidey, we did D slidey, and then we did staggered and G. Okay, so one more time, a little slower. Blue Ridge hills far away, staggered, slidey and C, slidey and D, back to staggered and G, staggered again G, slidey and C, slidey and D. Okay, now let's reverse that. Let's do slidey and G, and then let's do arpeggios, staggered arpeggios in C and D. Okay, this is how we're learning to do this stuff, all right? All by ear. Here we go. Slidey in G, and then staggered in C and D. 1, 2, ready, go. See what I mean? This is the other way to get your staggered in C. We talked about that earlier. This is your arpeggio form up the neck. You get your first 3 notes. This is C, and then you're right into your chop chord. And you can do D that same way. if you want to, or you can just, do it out of your chordal position, okay? Little common tag lick there. Kind of Stanley Brothers style. Okay, so now we have staggered, and we have, what? Slidey licks. Okay, so now we're going to look at the bounce licks. All right, so this is a bounce lick. Okay, so what are you doing? You're going down the scale. This is the G scale, starting on the 5th fret of the A, which is also the 5th interval. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're just bouncing off the open string. All right, 5, bounce, 3, bounce, 2, bounce. 7th fret of the D, bounce on the open D. It's always a string that's underneath you. Then down to the 5th fret. Okay, so that's 4 beats of bounce lick in G. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4. Okay, so let's bounce from G to C. How does this go? So you're bouncing all the way down. 5, bounce, 3, bounce, 2, bounce, 7, bounce, 5, bounce, 3, bounce, 2, bounce, 7th fret of the G, bounce off the open G, then you're down to the 5th fret of the C, and that's your C chord. You can do that same lick in D by just starting on the 5th fret of the E. Okay, so this is the bounce lick device. What am I doing there? Downstroke on the 5th fret of the G, chop chord, and then starting on your 2nd fret of the D, down, up, down, 5th fret, 2, 5, 5, 2 on an upstroke, then you end on the 3rd fret of the A. So. See how I'm changing it and alternating it a little bit to create some variations. And so that's what you're going to want to do. Engage with your creativity. Always be listening. Okay. So now we got slidey licks and bounce licks. So this is slidey, then the bounce. You know, that's the full slidey lick. You can also do half a slidey lick. Okay, so a full slidey, then you're in C to bounce down, then slidey in D high, then bounce down to G. Open, 4, 2, 4, open. Catch that upstroke on the G string. Up, down, up, down. So almost all this is always going to be not repeating a stroke. Down, up, down the whole way. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, so now we got staggered 16ths. Bounce licks. Slidey. Okay, so we're already off to the races. The next most important thing that we really want to understand is the infinity shape, the infinity pattern. Okay, so what this is a fingering pattern that takes you from down low all the way up. Okay, so this is what it is. Okay, so a lot of times where this starts, you know, in G, we've got this big open string, all right? And so we can use that for our advantage. The infinity shape really starts on your middle finger, your first finger, 4th fret of the G. Okay, but the key to it is your middle finger, all right? And I want to make you aware of this really quick. So the infinity shape can always be found in various lengths. And sometimes you're not going to have as much space with the strings as other places. Let me show you how this works. So in C chord, your infinity shape is always going to start with your first finger in the chord. Okay, so we're used to doing this, bringing the ring finger over to the D string for our arpeggio. What you need to do for the infinity shape is learn to get your middle finger out there, right there. So after your first finger note, the infinity pattern is going to have your middle finger next. Okay, so we're going to look at it in G first. So we're starting on the 4th fret of the G. We were just in C. I was just showing you how to find it. It's always right in your chop chord, starting with your first finger, then your middle finger next. Okay, so now we're in G. Another way you can think about this is starting on the major third. 1, 2, 3, that's the 3rd note in the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is the one, we're in G. Okay, so we're on the 3rd note in the scale. 1, 2, 3. It always starts with your first finger. 4th fret of the G. Your next note is the middle finger. You really want to lock this in your mind. Middle finger is the 2nd finger of the infinity pattern, the infinity shape. All right, so 4th fret of the G, first finger. Middle finger, 7th fret of the G. 5th fret of the D with your first finger. Those are your first 3 notes of the infinity scale, okay, the infinity pattern. And then right here, you're going to hop up to your ring finger on the 9th fret of the G. Okay, so here's our first 4 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 7 on the G, and then 5, 9 on the D. You can also grab the open G if you want. This is part of this whole thing. But really, it starts with your first finger for your mental reference. Then we're up to the 5th fret of the A. Okay, so those are our first notes. 4, 7, 5, 9, 5. First finger, middle finger, first finger, ring finger, first finger on the 5th fret of the A. And then from here, you're going to use your little finger, 10th fret of the A. All right, so let's put that together. Little finger right there. Then you're going to catch your 7th fret of the E, coming up to the 10th fret. And that is where our pattern stops for right now. This is basically the extent of it. And you can also get your open G. Okay, so what is the infinity pattern? Basically, it's starting on the major third, then going up the arpeggio. 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. That's the top of it. What I'm telling you are the scale intervals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The arpeggio is 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 5, 3, 5. Sorry. 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 1, 5, 3, 5. Open. 3, open. Those are the intervals, okay? So now let's think about that in the infinity shape. Okay, you can also start this on the open G. Open G, 4th fret, 7th fret, crossover on an upstroke, 5th fret of the D, 9th fret, 5th fret of the A, 10th fret of the A, 7th fret of the E, 10th fret of the E, okay? Want to get really comfortable with that and then start to stagger it. So down, up, 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 down. So you start on a down and move on up. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. You just want to really practice that a lot. Let's see about how to move it, okay? So we're starting with our first finger, moving on the middle finger, all right? Let's take it down to E. 2-finger E. So much of your mandolin world should be thought about at, starting with the 2-finger chords. G, C, D. Here is E. First fret of the E, G, first fret of the G, 2nd fret of the D. 2-finger E. You can also bar the D and the A and have your open E. We're just looking at the bottom of it. This is where our infinity shape is starting in E. That's exactly the same as this, fingering wise, and with relation to the harmonic intervals. So first fret of the G, fourth fret, middle finger is the key to the infinity shape. Second fret of the D, first finger, ring finger on the sixth fret. Let's get those first four. All right, 1, 4, 2, 6. Then a real big key is anchoring the second fret of the A with your first finger and really kind of keeping it there. That'll help you know the full shape because we're going to get up here to the octave at the seventh fret of the E. This is the stuff that breaks out of the infinity pattern. So 1, 4, 2, 6, 2, little finger on the seventh fret of the A, fourth fret of the E, then seventh fret of the E. Okay, beautiful. You can use the same note at the top if you want, or just continue. So all this stuff. That's the infinity pattern. You can also get to it with your ring finger. But just for now, just learn it with your little finger. Okay, so that's going to get you going with the infinity pattern, the staggered arpeggios, slidey, and bouncy. Okay, I'm going to include a few more of our vocabulary in here real quick because you're going to find this stuff coming in on Bluegrass Breakdown. And so we want to look at the Patty on the Turnpike lick real quick. This is a rhythmic lick. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Just so you're aware of it when it comes up. It's a shuffle thing with your right hand. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Dig it, get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. So one more time. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Jigga, 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 jigga. 1 E, a 2 E, a 3 E, and a. 1 E, 1 E, a 2 E, a 3 E, and a. E and a. That's it. 1 E, a 2 E, a 3 E, and a 4 E. A 4 and. All right. So this will be coming in Bluegrass Breakdown. Okay, so what was that right there? This is in Bluegrass Breakdown. I just want to let you know what it is. It's a major minor thing. So we're in G. We're toggling from the first fret to the second fret. This is where the blues, the major minor third thing is. Okay. Just going over this stuff quickly, go into it more detail in the actual lessons. So the scooper is also in Bluegrass Breakdown. What is that? All right, you hear this a lot in Bill's music. Staggered up to the first octave of G. That downstroke is fifth fret of the D. The next upstroke is going to be on your third fret of the E. Up, down. Then you're going to come down staggered. Up, down on the fifth fret. So here's what we got right now. 5, 5, 3, 2, 5, 5. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So here's the scooper. You can also get the open E if you want it. Okay, so now what's the half scoop? It's when he just kind of gets up to the top and then goes somewhere else. This is how you modulate the device. So in this case, he's going to C. So he's just right in there climbing up to the C at the bottom of the C chord. You can also do it to D. Okay, let's talk about double stops real quick in G. All right, 35. 1, Why is it 35? Why is this 51? It's the number of the scale interval. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, middle finger there. Okay, then your first finger on the 5th fret of the D. 5, 1, 5, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your middle finger on the 7th fret of the G, and then your first finger on the 5th fret of the D. 5, 1. Here's 1. That's your G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your 1 note. We're in the key of G. 1, 2, 3. All right. Mary had a little lamb. That's your 3rd interval. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Starting on your first finger, 5th fret of the D. 1, 2, 3. That's your 3rd note in the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the 10th fret of the D. Up to the 5th fret of the A. That's your 5 note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got 3 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3. And that's a little Tennessee waltz right there. So right here, this is your bread and butter, meat and potatoes, double stop bill. 51, 5, 6, 1. All that stuff, it never changes. It's always the same shape. Okay, 51, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So many of your kickoffs are going to be in that range. All right, so this is double stop bill. This is a lick that I learned from Red, and it probably came from Bill. So it's a 35 lick, sliding into 35. Right? And then getting down to your 13. Okay, so, excuse me, 31. 1, 2, 3, and then 1. 31, low 31, high 31. 1, 2, 3. 2 finger G is 31. 3 and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is the 1. 1, 2, 3, 3, 1. So 3, 5, 3, 5. And then 3, 1. Okay, so let's do this. So slide into 35. Ring, middle, first, down, up, down, all down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Ring finger note. That's the 6th note in G. And then you're going to slide with your middle finger from 7 down to 5. 7, 6, 5. Then upstroke on the 3rd fret. 3. Slide that into the 4th fret. 4. And then an upstroke on the 5th fret of the D. Okay, so now let's talk about the D web lick real quick. So Red introduces us to this idea. What's that? It's 35. You know, playing this lick out of 35 position. Red teaches that in detail. Take it up to C, 35 and C. Why is it 35? Because we're in C now. That's the top of C. That's the 1. 1, 2, 3, 5. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Or down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So 8th fret, that's your C note. 8, 5, 3, 7, 5, 7, 3. Back to G. And then D. 1, 2, 3, 35. Same position all day long. So that's the Dean Webb lick out of 35. Okay, so here's 51. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a double stop position out of the chord. This is standard Monroe's blues stuff right here. Blues note. 5, 3, slide 1 to 2 down to the 5th fret of the D. Slide up to the 6 into 7. Back to your top of your chord. 1st fret. That's the blues 7th tonality. 5, 3, slide 1 to 2. Okay, so this double stop right here. 1, 1, 3, 4. Those are scale intervals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dum, bum, 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 bum. super classic bluegrass sound. This is 51. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 and the 1. So 5 and 1. Into C, 51. Exact same thing we did in G. Just brought over to the C chord. Here's your 51 double stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's rawhide. 51 in F. What's that? 1 and the 3. That's 31. 31, 51. 3, 4, 5. 3, 5. 31, 51. 31, 51. 31, 51. All right. 35, 51. 31. Okay, these are your most important double stops. The other one is going to be 1 and 3, which goes high. Same notes. This is 1 and 3. 13. 13, 1 and 3, 1, 2, and 4. 2 and 4 connect to 35. So 1 and 3, 2 and 4, 3 and 5. Okay, same thing if you're in C. 1 and 3. There's your 35. Same as this. You can always find it. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's a little bit about double stops. We also want to look at the Santa Claus lick. All right. Oh yeah, we want to get the screamer in there too, because that's an important one. Screamer. All right, here's the Santa Claus lick in G. So this is starting way at the top of the infinity shape. 10th fret of the D, and a 1 E, and a 2 E, and a 3 E, and a 4. Okay? Starting on the 5th fret of the A, and a 1. So you have 2 pickup notes, and a 1, and your upstroke is on the 10th fret of the E. 7, 5, 10, 7, 5, and then you're on your D string. 9, 7, 5, and then onto your G string. 9, back to your 5th fret of the D, then end on your 51, 7th fret of the G, 5th fret of the D. All right, so this also comes from Midnight on the Stormy D. All this stuff is through the infinity shape. This is 51, all right? So here's your E note. 1, 2, 3, 2-finger E, 3, 1. Okay, 1st fret of the G is your 3rd note in the major scale. 1, 2, 3, Mary had a little lamb. 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3. This is the same note, octaves. So 3 and the 1. Okay, need to learn how to get from here, which is what we just learned here. Okay, so this is Midnight on the Stormy Deep. Ronnie also told us this is where Quicksburg Rendezvous comes from. So that's the infinity shape with one more note. Okay, so that's F. Back it up 1 to E. Okay, so the Santa Claus lick, this is one of Monroe's tunes. Very good lick, okay? Let's talk about the Monroe triplet lick. Okay, just so you know what that is, this is getting advanced stuff. This is the Monroe triplet lick ending. Triplet, it's down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. So you get these down, up, downs. It's always down, up, down. Down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down. 3, 7, 3, 1, 5, 1. And then 5, 4, 3. Then 1, 2, 2. Then 5th fret of the D. and then 3, 5, 3, then pull down with your little finger, 7, 6, 5, 7, 6, 5, down, up, down, then end on your 5th fret of the D. This is a closed position thing you can do anywhere, so take it up to B. Okay, that's the Monroe triplet lick. Okay, and we just want to close out with the screamer. Okay, so this is good language anywhere on the mandolin, especially if you're anywhere from G to B or C. This is really good for Lonesome Road Blues. Okay, so the screamer. It's a good G lick for a long piece there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and then go to your C chord there. So you're coming out of your chord way high on the major third, slide into it. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1, 4 E and a 1. It's really hard to do with your little finger. 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. Down your chord into your 7th. Down, up, down, up, down. 3rd fret of the E. This is all arpeggio. Easy. 3rd fret of the E, 5th fret of the A, 2nd fret of the A, 5th fret of the D. Down to your 7th. $51. 35. 1, 3. 1, 3. That's your high 13 position. It's really good to be able to learn to oops. Double stops. All right. Well, I hope that is a good introduction to the course. And the idea is that you just go slowly through each video. Stop it. Work it all out. And it's all going to start to synthesize, but this is going to give you a good way in with your staggered 16th notes, your slidey licks, the bounce licks, and the infinity shape. Those are the ones to concentrate on. Staggered 16ths, slideys, bouncies, and the infinity shape. All right, so feel free to drop me a line anytime. I'm always happy to help where I can, and I hope you enjoy the Monroe Style Improvising course.